Hi, my name is Brianna Coleman, and today we're going to talk about how to complete an interview because you could potentially be doing interviews until the day you retire. So there are a couple of parts to giving a good interview. Before you start the interview, it's good to be prepared, and then another part is just be ready to give answers. You could also ask questions during the interview. And the ending is also just as important as the beginning of the interview. You want to end on a good note. Okay, so Ben Franklin said, "Failing to prepare is preparing to fail." And I think that's a great quote because before you even go to the interview, I think you should be aware of the company. I think you should be informed about what they're looking for as well as what you expect from the company. So it's important to do your research before you ever even go into the interview. And then you want to be presentable when you get to your interview, as in you want to be enthusiastic, you want to have a good attitude, you want to be positive, you also want to be likable, you want to have a can-do attitude, as it were. Not be too cheesy, but you don't want to be too serious. Maybe a little bit of a sense of humor, I think, would help you to stand out. It's important to be determined in the interview, to stay with it, even though there may be some hard questions thrown at you, just be confident in yourself, to give yourself the best chance to the interview. And then also, according to Gray, it's important to be, like I said, informed about the company, what they're looking for, so you can be ready to answer the appropriate questions. So, and as you can see with this guy, he looks prepared. His hair's cut, it's not in his face. He is clean shaven, he's got a warm smile, he looks confident, he's dressed for the part. And with his handshake, you want to be sure to give a firm handshake and not like a loose, limp noodle, as it were. So you want to give a good handshake, and just give yourself, the best presentation possible. So, and the next part, to me, is the hardest part of the interview. I've been on lots of interviews, and some of them went really well, some of them didn't, but it's important, just to take the experience from each one and really, apply that to the next experience. So first, in describing yourself, you always want to introduce yourself when you go to an interview, and you want to describe yourself as, somebody that's right for the job. So to give yourself the best edge, you want to talk about your skills, your past experience, any education you may have, and just make yourself look like you're right for the job. So the next question that you may be presented with in an interview is to describe your strengths and weaknesses. And this may be difficult, because we don't want to say we're weak at something. We want to make ourselves look like a strong candidate. But it's important to describe your strengths, as in the stuff, maybe skills you've had in the past. It's also important in your weaknesses, not to necessarily show that as personal weaknesses, but maybe answer it as something you'd like to learn from this job or something you knew you'd like to take away from this job. And then another question they might ask is, why do you want the job? If you just want it for money, I wouldn't necessarily say that in the interview, but you want to gain new experience and, ultimately get a great job that would benefit you and the company that you're going to work for. So sometimes you may have a panel of people, or sometimes it may just be one-on-one, but it's important, just to keep calm, to give answers, and to wisely think through your answer. So in the next part of the interview, you might have the opportunity to ask some questions. So some questions you might ask is, why is the company, or what is the company looking for in the ideal candidate? What are they looking for from you? What do they expect from you? Why is this position open? Did the last person leave on good terms or bad? You want to find out why they're looking for someone too. Another great question would be, what would employees say they like most about the company? What are the strengths of the company? What is the benefit package like? So those are just some examples. And it's important to, listen to the interviewer. Sometimes they may address these, so you want to be sure and listen to what they're telling you and not ask the same questions, be redundant. So pay attention, but also, bring something new to the table. So, and of course, the end of the interview, you want to end on a positive note. So you want to be courteous, don't take too much of their time and ramble on about yourself. You want to be courteous of the time, of their time and also yours. And, restate your strengths. Again, let them know why you would be a good candidate for the job. And then you want to maybe ask about when to expect a call or when you might hear something from them. And, if you want the job, say so. Tell them you're excited about the job. Tell them, you would be really grateful for the opportunity. Just to let them know that you are interested and you are determined, to get this job. So, and then sending a thank you note is so important. Only about 10% of candidates send a thank you note. So if you send one, that could set you apart from the other people they may be interviewing for the job. So either a handwritten letter would be a good thank you note, and since we're so technologically involved in our work, it may be good just to send a thank you email. So again, just to go over kind of the key points, you want to go in with confidence, prepare the company, or prepare your research for the company, and also prepare yourself for the questions they may ask, and practice your answers before you go in so that you're not so blindsided or nervous. Listen for good question opportunities, and again, end on a high note, restating your strengths and really just looking interested in the job. So, and maybe you'll be hired. So that would be the ultimate goal. And of course, if you do all these things, there's probably a really good chance you'll get the job. So good luck with any future interviews you may have. Thank you.